Welcome to 2.6, the last topic in this chapter, where we're going to look at now dividing fractions. And who wants to divide? Let's not divide. Instead, let's just flip and then we can multiply. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the reciprocal. A reciprocal fraction is just where you flip the fraction. So if we have this generic a over b, then we would flip it across that dividing sign and write b over a. Okay, when we go to divide, then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. So let's practice some reciprocals. Oh, here's an important note here. Neither a or b can be 0 because we know we can't divide by 0. So let's do the reciprocal of these ones. So 3 over 4 then, so that's going to become 4 over 3. 5, what would be the reciprocal of 5? Well, 5, remember, is a whole number, which means it's over 1. So the reciprocal is going to be 1 over 5. All right, how about 1 and 2/3? Well, let's convert that to an improper fraction. So we're going to do 3 times the 1 for 3 plus 2 gives us 5, and it's going over our denominator of 3. So this 1 and 2/3 is the same thing as 5 over 3. So the reciprocal is 3 over 5. Okay. Let's take a look at one other interesting property here, which is that the product of any number and its reciprocal is 1. So anytime you multiply some fraction by its reciprocal, you'll get an answer of 1. And that can be super handy when we get into chapter 11, looking at algebra. So here, let's do the multiplication. We could cross simplify. Let's not. Let's just go top times top over bottom times bottom. So 3 times 4 gives us 12. And 4 times 3 gives us 12. 12 over 12. Well, we could simplify that if we divide it by 12. Oh, here, maybe I'll just show that we're dividing by 12. And we would get 1 over 1, which is 1. Okay, next one. Well, let's try that cross simplification method I like so much. So if we can see that we can divide the 6 by 6, it's divisible by 6. This bottom 6 is also divisible by 6. 5 is divisible by 5. And the 5 on the bottom is divisible by 5. So we get 1 times 1 over 1 times 1, which gives us 1 over 1 or 1. All right, last one. Now we've got a whole number. We've got 7 times 1/7. And if you just think about this conceptually, if you have 1/7 of something, so you have a pizza divided into 7 pieces and you've got one of those pieces, now multiply that by 7, it makes sense that now you would have a whole pizza. So remember, 7 we can write as 7 over 1. So let's do that so it looks nicer over here. 7 over 1 times 1 over 7. Numerator times numerator gives us 7. Denominator times denominator gives us 7. So once again, we end up with 1. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, to divide fractions, let's not worry about dividing them at all, really. Let's just change it to multiplication. We can do that by flipping the second fraction. Okay, so when we have 2 over 4 divided by 3 over 6, another way we can write that is 2 over 4. Now I'm going to change that division sign to a multiplication sign. I'm allowed to do that as long as I take the reciprocal or flip that second fraction. So that second fraction then is going to become 6 over 3. Okay, now let's do method 1 for multiplication. So I'm going to go numerator times numerator. 2 times 6 gives me 12. Denominator times denominator. 4 times 3 gives me 12. And that I can divide the top and bottom by 12 to get 1 over 1 or 1. So my answer here is 1. Okay, let's try another. So we're going to first rewrite this as 3 over 5 multiplied by the reciprocal of 7 over 8, which is 8 over 7. And let's try cross simplification method. Actually here, there's no common factors we can pull out, so we can't do any cross simplification here. So numerator times numerator gives me 3 times 8 is 24. Denominator times denominator, 5 times 7 gives me 35. Because there were no common factors, I know this is in its lowest form, but if you wanted to check, remember you could always look for the GCF of 24 and 35, and you should find that your answer is 1. In other words, there are no common factors there. Okay, let's look at another one. So here we've got 2/7 divided by 4. Remember, that's 4 over 1. So if I multiply, I can multiply then by the reciprocal, which is 1 over 4. Here we do have a common factor. Here we have a 2 in common. So we can divide this 2 by 1, as long as we divide something on the bottom by 2 as well. Sorry, we can divide the 2 and the 4 both by 2. So 2 divided by 2 gave me the 1 on top. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2 on the bottom. And so I get 1 times 1 is 1 over 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, let's just do a few more, and then I'm going to give you some to do some practice. So here we have 6 divided by 2 over 3. Remember, that's 6 over 1. So let's rewrite that as multiplication. So this is 6 over 1 multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 3 over 2. And I'm going to do some cross simplification there. I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. And so I get 3 times 3 is 9 over 1 times 1 is 1. And so my answer here is 9. All right. Are we ready to practice some? Let's do one more together, and then I'll get you to do some on your own. So here, remember, we've got 8 over 1 again. So this is 8 over 1 multiplied by the reciprocal, 3 over 2. And I've got a 2 in common. Remember, the step is optional, but I'm going to divide both of those by 2. Then I've got top times top is 12, 4 times 3 over 1 times 1. 12 over 1, any number over 1 is just the whole number, just the numerator. So the number there is 12. So why don't you pause this video, or actually, why don't you go ahead and try those next ones, and then you can watch the next video. Just one thing you might need to know is once you get down here to I and beyond, now you've got mixed numbers. So when you have mixed numbers, you want to convert your mixed numbers to improper fractions, just like you did for the multiplication. So convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. So remember, that's that boomerang approach. So give those a try, and then come on back for the next video.